minutes here, down to our last 20 minutes or so. And I didn't think I would be doing this. I was going to let someone in the audience bring that. Russ came to us, Colonel Burrows came to us many months ago on basically an unrelated matter. And we became aware of a cave. Now maybe a cave is kind of boring. You cave, don't you? But not if you find artifacts in that cave that could rewrite the history book or rewrite the Bible. That's all I'm going to say. Russ, I'm sure that someone's going to ask the question of me now.
Thanks a bunch.
If you want to know why it's going to be rewritten, there's the man to ask. He's got a few minutes to talk.
Oh, God. So, anybody have a question?
Where is it, Russ?
Yeah,
Where is Russ?
Where
Oh,
is it?
I know you can't. Where approximately is it?
South Central Illinois. How's that?
How long ago did you discover it?
Long time ago.
What's in it?
Lots of stuff.
No.
Founded August or April 2nd, 1982. Felon. From that point on, I'll let you folks ask questions. How's that? No one has a question?
If you don't, I'll get him started.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
What's so different about the valley that you found this cave in than the rest of the surrounding terrain?
That's a good question. The difference is that
I mean, just as you perceive it, I'm not trying to explain it, just what, as you perceive it, why is it different?
there's nothing living that I have ever seen in this valley. Not a bird, not a rabbit, not a squirrel, nothing. I've seen them go around it. I've seen deer come down to the edge of this valley and walk about 2 miles and cross and go back up and go the way they had been going. Yes, sir.
How heavy is the vegetation?
In the valley floor, probably heavy. It doesn't prohibit walking. I mean, it's not just a tangle of brush, but rather it's just standard woods vegetation for south central Illinois.
Does it differ in any way with surrounding vegetation, Russ?
No, not really. Not really. It's not, the vegetation is not stunted. Nor did the trees have limbs growing up 50 feet before there's a limb. It's just the actual natural appearance of the valley is no different really than any other. The different thing about it is the silence of the valley.
Do you have a theory as to why this happens? Do you have a theory as to why the animals avoid this area?
Yeah, I really do.
Is there water? Is there water?
No. Well, yes, I'll take that back. I'll answer hers, then yours. The theory, well, it's not a theory really now, it's pretty well proven fact that this is the burial place, this valley is the burial place of the ancient sun gods. It's haunted. Putting it straight up and at you, the place is haunted. The last living Zodiac, or Sun King, for the Yuchi Indian tribe, Chief Daniel Brown, died back about 15 years ago. And he foretold of finding a cave in the Midwest which would contain the history of the Yuchi tribe and where they came from. it has done that. They came from Tibet, not Africa, Tim, or Jackson. They came from Tibet. The Yuchi tribe, as a matter of fact, is still, the other part of the Yuchi tribe is still there. But Chief Brown warned Professor Dr. Joseph Mahan to be very careful, because this cave would be guarded by sentinels. What did he mean, sentinels? Did he mean that there would be stone tablets cut and stood, standing all around it, stood up, you know? Or did he mean spirits? Is that what their tribal history said it was sentries or spirits? I can tell you firsthand they're spirits, and they are there, and there are a lot of them. And they're nice and friendly until someone decides to use this to their own advantage. I'll give you an example. Originally, there were 6 people involved with this. 2 are now alive, myself and the other 4 who tried to use this cave to their own advantage, and you know 2 of them, Jackson, are dead.
And you are the one that discovered it, correct?
I rediscovered it. It was actually discovered some 27, 29, 30 centuries ago. Yeah.
Russ, let me, I don't know if you want to ask this or not.
Well, she asked if there was water. Yes, there is. There's a very small creek that runs right down the middle of the valley. It's usually dry. But at the northwest corner of the valley, or end of the valley, there is a sinkhole, which is always maintains the same level of water. It may raise a few inches during a really heavy storm, but within just a few hours, it's back to normal. And yes, there is water. Not a lot. It's also a very deep sinkhole. Here it comes, oh boy.
Now, Russ, you stood up here about an hour ago and pointed out these crinkles in this costume.
Okay.
Verification. I propose to verify. I trust you. I know a lot of people trust you. What will happen over the next few years, few months, to verify this to the American people? Because quite honestly, there's a lot he's not telling. There are connections here to Christianity. There are connections here that forget the Columbus and forget the Vikings and all that had very little to do with the discovery of America. But back to the point, how are we going to verify it?
That's the only evidence we have right there to verify it. There's nothing else.
But I'm saying to the common man here, how are we going to know what you say is true? Are there artifacts? Will there be any studies made by archaeological organizations? Will there be any colleges involved that might go in and verify the validity of the artifacts?
Oh, you're not talking about Bigfoot now, you're talking about...
No. I'm talking about the cave.
That's where I'm heard every now and then. Yes, however, things have changed, and they've changed drastically in the past month. While I was attending the conference, the Institute for Study of Ancient American Cultures conference in Columbus this past June, and during the middle of my presentation, a well-known, highly respected archaeologist, anthropologist, I won't mention his name. Yes, I will. Dr. Cyrus Gordon stood up, interrupted me, and said before this multitude of people, "This is the greatest archaeological discovery in the history of man. This outweighs King Tut's tomb. It will prove more valuable. It will prove equally or more valuable. It will prove equal or it will exceed the value of King Tut's tomb." Well, I'm standing up here in front of this crowd of people, and what in the name of God's going on? You know? And he said, I'm going to redub it. I'm going to redub this Burrows Cave, the Valley of the Kings of North America. Well, now that made my day. That really did. I was happy then. Then, wonder of wonders, that night at the banquet and awards presentation ceremony, Dr. Gordon was again the guest, was the speaker, and he again said this, same thing. This time I had former President Jimmy Carter as a witness, not that he wasn't a witness, but he's a nice fellow, peanut man. Wears ties with peanuts on. I'm having fun.
Russ and I argue like this even when we're not in couple.
About 3 weeks after I got back home from Columbus, I received a letter from Dr. Gordon. Said he would be in Illinois September 19th. And he was going to the cave. He didn't say, can I go to the cave? He said, I'm going to the cave. Okay. Well, I told you, Jackson, I think shortly after I returned about what he said. This is, by the way, Jackson Judge. I think most of you know him over here, don't you? He's a biblical archaeologist sitting over here in the corner. Not in the far corner, but in front of it. I wanted Dr. Gordon in our corner because he's a valuable man. Probably the foremost linguist and epigrapher in the country, if you want to associate epigraphy with science. And I tried my very best to get this pushed through. The Burrows Cave organization was established. There are 4 of us who are members of the board of directors. I took this to them, and 3 of us were for his visit. 1 was opposed, and the one was Professor James Shears. He's our chief executive officer, and he's at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. I then took it to the owner of the property, who presented it to the security people. Our security is very tight on this thing. And the security people said no. They said, Russ, you were not allowed, you haven't been allowed there for 2 years yourself. Why are we going to allow you to take him? No, we can't do it. When we set up our program, our organization, we set it up so that no one, neither myself nor the property owner, the board of directors, any of us, can overrule a decision made by security. They are the big bucket, that's all. So I had to write Dr. Gordon back, and I had to tell him, I'm sorry, you cannot go. However, an expedition is planned in the spring, and you are invited to that. The next thing I know, Dr. Gordon has written and published a letter in the Louisiana Mountains News Society, or Louisiana Mountains Society's newsletter, which says that Burrows Cave is a figment of my imagination. And so I promptly wrote him a letter and told him to stick it where the sun don't shine. I didn't say that. I was in mixed company, that's what I will say. And I mean, frankly, I don't care what he thinks. Then the decision was made that this cave would be excavated, but it would be excavated privately. It will not be excavated in the academic circle. We have hired anthropologists, we have hired archaeologists. They will do the excavation. They're very credible people, and they will be doing the reporting. And then all these other guys who have given us so much trouble can hang their heads in the horn. How's that? Did I answer your question?
No, I have a question.
Okay.
You said you took it to the owner. Russ, last time you were here, you told me you were the owner.
I own the cave. Yeah, I do not own the ground. You've got to cross the ground to get to the cave. And to have a right to get to the cave, legally, I must make an improvement in the cave, full property easement. I can't do that, and I don't want to do it, because too many things can happen that can go wrong. I want it to stay just like it is, because right now we have the very best security in the world there. And that it is just like any other little valley.
Having known many security organizations and worked for one or two myself, how do you keep the security guards out of there?
Well, I see you laughing over here. The security people work for the man who owns property. And that man is probably one of the most powerful people in that part of the country. You do not cross him. Good man. You're straight with him, he's straight with you, but and he pays his people well, so that they are not tempted to do something dumb.
When you go to excavate this site, what is going to keep the spirits that are guarding this place? What's going to keep? How are you going to be allowed to do this without deaths and things happening?
You folks are probably going to think I'm certifiable when I tell you this, but oh God.
I was going to bring it up, but you got it now.
Oh boy. I have made an agreement. I have reached an arrangement or an agreement with these spirits.
But you did before, you took, what, hundreds, if not 1,000 or so artifacts out of the cave?
With their permission.
You did? When did you take those artifacts out of the cave? What year?
1983, 84, 85.
You had to excavate silt sand from the cave in order to get into it. You put that silt and sand back.
No.
Oh, you didn't.
No.
So the cave is in the same condition as when you excavated it, and nothing else has been done to it since then?
Nothing, no one has been inside the cave for better than 2 years now.
But someone other than yourself had.
Okay. Now, an anthropologist, a couple of archaeologists have been in there, mining safety engineer has been in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Were these like things that were to come out, you know, in their own time? The artifacts that you have taken, were they? Did they tell you which ones to take? It's like a lot of things that, you know,
No, they don't.
everything had their own time and their own place to come out.
Let me illustrate that for you. When of the 13 tombs, burial crypts that are in that cave, I've looked in 3 of them. The second one I looked in contains the skeleton of a woman and 2 children, who were, all 3 of them were sacrificed. The woman had a solid gold spear point through a rib, and this area here would have easily penetrated the heart. The children's heads were fractured and cracked with marble stone axes. Those axes are still laying on the stone bier that the skeletons are laying on. And I know they were used because they fit the holes in their heads. When the second time I stuck my head in the hole in the block that I removed, someone laid a kiss on my cheek, and I heard this woman's voice. Now, whether I actually heard it or whether it was inside my head, I said, "Where have you been for so long?" Now, folks, I want to tell you something. When something like that happens, you can turn around real fast in a real small place. I can tell you, I did. I turned around fast because I was sure that someone was there. I heard that voice as plain as I heard you. And then I realized, because I'm out there in the corridor looking around and trying to say, who is in here with me? And then it dawned on me, I heard that inside this crypt. have at least one of these spirits with me all the time. There's one with me now. I honestly believe that they protect me, because I have been in some heights here the last 3 or 4 years that there's just no way, unless I had protection, that I would have survived. But I'm here.
Like what?
Bad stuff. Which I'll discuss with you privately.
Okay.
But there's something peculiar about it. Of course, now I want to tell you, I believe in ghosts.
Did you believe in?
How do you communicate with the spirits? Is it telepathy or?
No, I can't do that. I am not capable of telepathy. It's more or less a conversation, just like you and I.
So you actually hear it, the voices?
I think I do.
See?
It sounds like I do, but whether it's inside, whether that is correct, I don't know. But I hear it.
When you're back in the artifacts, you really had a problem. One of these people that died, selling them off, didn't you? I want to know how many of them you were able to recover.
123 out of 1993.
Who's the rest of them? Collectors?
That lousy, no good, lying, thief, and dog sold.
Of course, he's dead now.
He's dead now, right? He sold, well, let me rephrase that. There's 1,663 artifacts missing. That's a lot of artifacts. But you're right, he's dead.
Of course, he was gone.
Well, all I can say, if the fire's out in hell, I'll give the devil a match. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I heard it mentioned that it would change the Bible, right? Can you explain that, sir?
Well, I think Terry may have been exaggerating a little bit there. Though I don't know. I don't know. Possibly Jackson here can help us with this a little bit. I think it's Ramesses II. His people were being attacked at war with some country, Syria, someone, and they were losing. And so Ramesses II's people took up his body and his burial and went somewhere. Nobody knows for sure where, do they, Jackson? They don't know for sure where they went.
I'm not sure whether we're talking about Ramses or not. I haven't gotten that far. I could say there are some severe implications in biblical archaeology in this. Everything's preliminary so far. The Assyrian invasion came, we'd be talking about Shishak, the Pharaoh Shezon. But we've got an incredible time span that we have to work with. This is undetermined.
Finally, I'll take just a couple of minutes to go through this. We're going to get away from the cave and go to my observation of photographs. My last year and a half active duty with the military was with an organization which you all know. I cannot, by law, I cannot state the name of that organization.
Thank you.
I was in the second group for the scavengers that we would call. After the first group had asked the questions, the scavengers went and made sure if the first group made 5 out of 10 points, scavengers went. If we made 1 more point, then the sanitation crew came on. And I'm not going to talk about that. But My specialty was observation, or study of film, photographs. And to the person who has not been thoroughly trained in this sort of thing, the evidence that is obvious and visible in these slides, and of course this was far too large, you really didn't see it. You wouldn't notice it, but these are, when you have been thoroughly skilled, thoroughly trained and skilled in this particular thing, these things glare at you like a red light. They are a blinking red light. There it is. If you don't see them, score another point, pass it on to the next group. Okay, well, I see we're running out of time.
Take the men out, find a few beers, and maybe you can get a little more. We'll start the next break. Thank you very much, Russ.
You're very welcome.
I always learn something every time I talk to Russ. They're my notes, which I've been looking all over the place for. Well, I put those in place, and we'll discuss them at the next meeting.
Let me say one more thing.
Sure.
The book that Fred Freedom and I have written, The Cave of Mystery Mystery Cave of Many Faces, you can pick up one of the order forms over here. We set up a pre-presentation sale at half price. This is the last time this booklet will be offered. Jim is going to be using it as his chapter 96, so I will no longer publish this for offer for sale. So anybody who wants one, they're $8 a piece.
Okay, there are a few people here that have requested to talk to one or two of us. So we must vacate the building immediately. Like I said, they will charge us, they threatened. We're going to slip out the back on the parking lot while we load the cars. If you want to pull one of us aside back there, please do so. I think, are we then going, after that, maybe go get a pizza or something? I'm not certain. But anyway, we'll discuss it out there. So if you've got something to ask, as you leave the building,